Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Okay, we'll do JEE mains questions on continuity and differentiability. So this is the first one. Try it.
Okay. Sir, do we have a finite answer for question number one?
So it has options. So what is your conclusion?
Sir, it is discontinuous at all integral values, I think.
You are saying it is discontinuous.
Yes, sir.
1 second. Why is it discontinuous? Which values have you checked? Tell me which value you checked. Suppose you check at a random integer. Let's say x is equal to n, right? So you will have to check the right hand limit and left hand limit. So limit of x tends to n plus, right? So GIF of n minus 1 would be basically what? N minus 1 only, right?
Yes, sir.
Cos of it will be 2n minus 1 by 2 pi, right?
Yes, sir.
Now this part is an odd multiple of pi by 2, so it has to be 0, right?
Yes, sir, I didn't notice that.
On the other hand, if you do n minus, right? Even then, it will become here, it will become n minus 2, right?
Yes, sir, but there it will be zero.
But here again, what will happen? N minus 1 again, it will be 0, right?
Yes, sir.
The point is that this part makes both the left hand and right hand limits 0, no?
Yes, sir. So no point for discontinuity.
So it's actually continuous at all integer points. And other than integer points, you didn't have any doubt about this function anyway, right?
Yes, sir.
So actually, there are no points of discontinuity here.
Yes,
Okay. You have to be careful about the functions where it could be possible that one thing is making the whole thing 0. Even if there are differences in the function, if it both convert to 0, obviously, then there is no discontinuity, right?
yes, first I did divide it by 2. Like I wrote it x minus pi by 2, but I didn't notice this thing.
If here's the odd multiple of pi by 2, cos is always 0.
Yes.
Okay, next one then.
So how can we graph the max function, max of 2x minus 2x comma 3 GIF of mod x?
ये पार्ट का क्या हो रहा है इसका सिंप्लीफिकेशन?
सर सर -1 से 1 के बीच में लाइक कर रहा है, तो 0 हो जाएगा क्या?
हाँ,
हाँ,
so it is simply max of 2x comma 0, right?
yes sir.
So that is a simple graph, no? If x is between -1 and 1, the 2x graph is like this, right? Right?
Yes sir.
और तुमको max of 2x compared to 0. 0 line is this line, right? So the graph is simply 0 from here till here, and then it becomes this, right?
Yes sir.
Are you understanding?
Yes sir.
Graph is like this and then like this.
Yes sir. Sir, I was asking, sir, like we have a transformation of f of GIF of x.
Mm-hmm.
So I was asking, like, sir, do we have any trick to remember those all? Because I think they are 6 to 7, and every time I get confused.
ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन क्या चीज याद करना है?
सर ऐसे होता है ना, मतलब एफ ऑफ मॉड एक्स या मॉड ऑफ एफ ऑफ एक्स, ये सब वाला, तो वो बड़ा कंफ्यूजिंग हो जाता है।
नहीं, लेकिन याद नहीं करना है उसको। याद करोगे तो और भी प्रॉब्लम होगी। याद नहीं करना है उसको, करना है नॉर्मली।
अच्छा।
मतलब उसमें वैसे याद नहीं कर सकते हो। याद करने की कोशिश करोगे तो और भी कंफ्यूज रहोगे।
नहीं
उसको
सर,
सोच के करना है।
explanation बस एक बार, और फिर मतलब हम ट्राई करते थे याद करने का।
मतलब एक्सप्लेनेशन क्या है? एफ ऑफ एक्स से तुमको एफ ऑफ मॉड एक्स अगर बनाना है,
हाँ
तुमको एफ ऑफ एक्स से एफ ऑफ मॉड एक्स तो आता होगा ना करना।
हाँ
ये करने आता है?
हाँ सर।
क्या
वो
है?
कन्वर्ट, ये एक्स को मिरर इमेज, मतलब एक्स के अबाउट मिरर इमेज हो जाता है एक्स एक्सिस में।
नहीं तो उसको थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेन करो क्या होगा। ऐसे ही बोलने से नहीं होगा।
सर जो एक्स एक्सिस के ऊपर वाला पार्ट होता है वो रिवर्ट हो जाता है नीचे, और जो
नहीं,
पहले से नीचे था वो डिलीट हो जाता है ऊपर।
नहीं, गलत बोल रहे हो। तुम ध्यान से सोच नहीं रहे हो इसलिए गलत हो रहा है। तुमने ध्यान से इसके बारे में सोचा नहीं है। यहाँ पे मान लो एफ एफ एक्स का ग्राफ कुछ ऐसा है, राइट?
हाँ।
ये मेरा एफ ऑफ एक्स का ग्राफ है। नाउ आई हैव टू ड्रॉ द ग्राफ ऑफ दिस, राइट?
यस सर।
तो ध्यान से सोचो, अगर तुम इसमें नेगेटिव इनपुट दोगे तो क्या ये नेगेटिव इनपुट रहेगा ये?
नहीं सर, सिमेट्रिक हो जाएगा 5x।
तो तुम कुछ भी इनपुट दो इसमें -1, एक्चुअली इट बिकम्स एफ ऑफ 1, राइट?
यस सर।
So basically, you will never get the negative values of f, right?
यस सर।
So the graph of this will be this graph, you ignore the negative portion, and whatever is it for x positive, it gets reflected here, right?
Yes, sir.
That's not what you said right now, correct?
Yes, sir. I reflected it about x-axis.
तुमने जो बोला है वो ये है mod of f of x.
हाँ सर, ऐसे ही कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं जल्दी।
कंफ्यूज होने का कुछ है ही नहीं इसमें. mod
हम्म,
of f of x क्या है? जो भी f of x के वैल्यूज थे, अगर वो नेगेटिव है तो वो पॉजिटिव हो जाएंगे.
अच्छा।
f of x का वैल्यू और x का वैल्यू में डिफरेंस समझ में आ रहा है?
हाँ हाँ।
अगर f of mod of f of x करना होता तो हम लोग बोलते हैं कि देखो यहाँ पे f of x नेगेटिव है, इसको पॉजिटिव बनाना हो, राइट? तो we would have said okay, we reflect it and it becomes something like this reflection. I have not drawn it properly, but you have to draw a proper reflection, right? Are you understanding what I'm saying? Do you understand the difference between the two?
Yes, sir.
So here when we do this here, we are actually deleting parts of the domain. No, यहाँ पे negative x तो आ ही नहीं रहा है अब डोमेन में.
हाँ सर।
लेकिन यहाँ पे डिलीट नहीं कर रहे हैं डोमेन, नेगेटिव वैल्यू से ले रहे हैं, उसको उल्टा कर दे रहे हैं बस, राइट?
यस सर।
So these two should be clear. There is no shortcut that I know to immediately get this. I mean, there is no shortcut. I would just think about it. Like, what is happening here? X ka domain could have been anything, but now here the values can only be 0 or 1 or 2 or integer values, right?
Yes sir.
So the graph will be basically any point where x was in the middle of two integers, that point is already lost, right?
Yes sir.
So if the graph was like this, y is equal to x square का graph था, so if you do y is equal to x square को convert करके you do y is equal to GIF of x square, right?
Yes sir.
You will lose out on all the points in the middle, no?
Yes sir.
For example, I cannot do anything about half. Half ka GIF becomes 1, so half ka GIF becomes 0, so it will be same as 0, right?
Yes sir.
So the graph will basically become, for all of these values, it will become this 0, right? Then for all the values from 1 to root 2, it will become whatever is the value of 1, right?
Yes sir.
From root 2 to root 3, it will become 2, right? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes sir.
But this is coming by common sense and thinking about it. इसका कोई rule नहीं है कि ऐसे कर लो तो हो जाएगा. समझ रहे हो?
हाँ.
तो इसका कोई जनरल रूल याद करने चलोगे तो सब गड़बड़ हो जाएगा. ऐसा कुछ करना नहीं है, बस थिंक करना है ध्यान से.
अच्छा.
The basic transformations you need to know, like what happens if you have f of x graph. How can you convert it to f of x plus minus a? How can you convert f of x to f of ax? How can you convert f of x to f of x plus minus b? How can you do all of these things combined in one step like this, right?
Yes sir.
Plus c also you can add, right? All of these effects combined, right?
Yes sir.
So these are basic transformations. This is a left or a right shift. This is an expansion or contraction, right?
So this is a vertical shift and
This is a vertical up or down lifting the graph, right?
yes sir.
And this is, for this you have to do it in a step-by-step manner. You cannot do it in one step, right? You will
Yes.
have to, suppose I have to go from f of x to f of ax plus b plus minus c. How do I do that? I will start with simple things. First, from f of x, I will rewrite f of ax plus b like this. I will write it like this. F of ax plus b is the same thing as f of say a times x plus b by a, right?
Yes sir.
And there is a plus minus c at the end, right?
Yes sir.
So what will I do first? So I will take my f of x graph and I'll find first f of x plus b by a, right?
Yes, sir.
तो ये तो बस simple left और right shift है, right?
Yes.
Then from here I will multiply it by a times like this, right? This is a shrinking, right?
Yes, sir.
Shrinking or expanding depending on the value of a, correct?
Yes, sir.
Once you have got this, now it is very easy to do plus minus c, right?
Hmm.
Are you understanding what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these transformations are step by step. You understand the basic transformations and then you do it in a step by step manner.
Okay.
Okay. Now try this. Tell me what you can figure out about continuity differentiability here.
Okay.
It is not always necessary that you have to draw the graph to check continuity differentiability. If you understand the functions properly, you can just start taking limits, right?
Yes, sir.
तो ऐसा जरूरी नहीं कि हर बार ऐसा आएगा तो ग्राफ बनाना जरूरी है. I would not even have drawn the graph. I would have realized that okay, 2x comma 0 maximum when x is negative it will be 0, when x is positive it will be 2x, right?
Yes, sir.
So I will just split the function into different parts, correct?
हाँ.
यहाँ पे GIF is always -2 in this range, right?
Yes, sir.
So it is sine of x minus -2, so x plus 2 by x plus 2 in the range -2 to -1, right?
Yes, sir.
यहाँ पे it is the max of 2x comma 0 because this quantity becomes 0, right?
Yes, sir.
Why does this become 0? Because when x is between -1 and 1, mod
Yes.
x will be between 0 to 1, right?
Yes, sir.
And GIF of that will be 0. So maximum of that will be basically 2x will be 0 if it is between -1 to 0, right?
Yes, sir.
And it will be 2x if it is between 0 to 1, right? And
Yes.
finally there is 1 for other points otherwise, right?
Yes, sir.
Now you don't need to draw any graphs. You can just directly take limits at different left-hand limit, right-hand limit, check continuity and differentiability.
Sir, at -1 and 1, I think we have this discontinuity.
That's correct. What about 0? 0 पे क्या है?
सर जीरो पे सर यहाँ पे जीरो पे सर सेम हो जाएगा ना, क्योंकि 2x का भी लिमिट x टेंड्स टू जीरो पे जीरो हो जाएगा और ये था ही जीरो पहले से.
So 0 पे it is continuous. At -1 and 1 it is discontinuous, right?
Yes, sir.
Check now differentiability. Obviously you don't need to check differentiability at -1 and 1, right?
Yes, sir. It's already discontinued.
If it is discontinuous, it has to be non-differentiable, right?
Yes, sir.
So ये तो already 2 points of non-differentiability आ ही गए. Now you should check at 0, right?
सर जीरो पे भी नहीं होगा आई थिंक.
0 is also a point of non-differentiability even though it was continuous there, right?
Yes, sir. Sharp turn.
Why? Because before 0 यहाँ पे function was constant like this, right? 0. And
52.
after 0 it is rising, right?
Yes, sir.
So यहाँ पे there are two different slopes of the tangent, right?
Yes, sir.
So this is a point of non-differentiability. So actually you are getting two discontinuous points and three non-differentiable points.
Okay, sir.
Are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
The answer will be 2 comma 3,
Hmm.
right?
Yes,
The
sir.
2 points of discontinuity are -1 and 1. The 3 points of non-differentiability are -1, 0 and 1.
Yes.
Okay. Let's go to the next one. Fine. Let f of x be equal to minimum of 1 comma 1 plus x sin x, where 0 is less than x less than equal to 2 pi, if same thing, m is number of, no, this time it is number of non-differentiable points, and n is number of discontinuous points. You have to find the ordered pair mn. Same question.
Okay. सर 1 plus x sin x always increasing होगा क्या?
You can find it out yourself. You don't have to ask.
Yes.
खुद से पता चल जाएगा क्या हो रहा है.
हाँ. सर f of x 1 ही आ रहा है सर.
क्या
minimum.
आ रहा है one?
f of x.
Not always. No. Why is it always one?
So because f of x this should be always greater than 1 plus x sin x.
नहीं.
तो नेगेटिव होगा. अच्छा हाँ.
Pi to 2 pi में क्या होगा?
हाँ सही.
सर 0 to pi पॉजिटिव होगा, पाई टू 2 पाई नेगेटिव. दैट.
0 to pi में अलग है, pi to 2 pi में अलग है.
हम्म.
ये ऑब्वियस चीज है, इसमें मिस नहीं करना है ऐसा चीज, राइट?
हाँ सर.
This is the function. Now you have to think about continuity differentiability.
Sir, I think it's continuous.
हम्म.
At x equal to pi also.
हम्म. फिर differentiability.
वो दे. सर डिफरेंशियल भी है, डिफरेंशिएबल भी है क्या?
तुम ऐसे गलती क्यों कर रहे हो, ऐसा सिली सिली मिस्टेक? ध्यान से फिर से ट्राई देखो.
हाँ.
Sir, 0 to pi, it is continuous but non-differentiable. And from pi to 2 pi, it is continuous and differentiable.
नहीं, non-differentiability is at a certain point, no? What do you mean by it is non-differentiable? It is,
Sir, it gives a constant output 1 for every value from 0 to pi.
तो derivative is 0.
As a slope is 0, derivative is 0.
Yes. Constant functions को थोड़े बोलते हैं non-differentiable है वो. Constant functions are nice functions, they are differentiable. No? The slope is 0,
Sir,
right?
at pi it's non-differentiable.
At x is equal to pi, at a certain point, you have to check non-differentiability. The way you check it is the slope before and slope after, right?
Yes, sir.
The graph is like this. It is constant before and afterwards it is some curve, right?
Yes, sir.
So if you check the derivative RHD here, it will become what? It will be x cos x plus
Plus sin
sin
x.
x. So near pi plus x tends to pi plus पे क्या होगा? ये part 0 होगा, ये part minus pi होगा, right?
Yes, sir.
Minus pi is coming as the derivative as x tends to pi plus, the right hand derivative. But
Yes, sir.
left hand derivative is 0 because this side it was this, right?
Yes, sir.
So left hand derivative, right hand derivative are not matching, so it's non-differentiable at x is equal to pi. However, it is continuous throughout. At x is equal to pi from both sides, the limit is tending to 1, right?
Yes.
The function values are tending towards 1 from both left hand side and right hand side near pi, right?
Yes, sir.
So continuity everywhere, but discontinuous at one point. The non-differentiable at one point. So n is 0, m is 1.
Sir, after differentiating, I did put x equal to 0. That's why I think I got the wrong answer.
हाँ, so carefully अगर नहीं करोगे तो गलत हो जाएगा.
Hmm.
Okay. Next one is this one. The function f r to r defined by f of x is equal to limit of n tends to infinity cos of 2 pi x minus x power 2n sine of x minus 1 divided by 1 plus x power 2n plus 1 minus x power 2n. This function is continuous for all x in what interval? In what interval? You have to basically figure out a function, when is it going to be continuous for all x?
Sir, I think it's discontinuous at x equal to 1.
You have to tell me an interval in which it is always continuous, right? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Sir, I have already put it into piecewise function. I just now need to verify.
Think about what the effect of limit n tends to infinity will have. It will have some effect on things like x square power n, right?
X greater than 1, we will have minus sign x minus 1 divided by x minus 1.
So think of this right now, and you can realize that if x was greater than 1, right?
Yes,
Or
sir.
if x is less than minus 1, then obviously x square is greater than 1, right?
Yes, sir.
So in that case, what will happen? In that case, this is tending towards infinity then, right?
Yes.
Is everyone understanding what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So that is one particular case. However, if x was between minus 1 and 1, right? In that case, x square power n will tend to 0 as limit n tends to infinity, right?
Yes, sir.
So that is a different case. You also have to take into account the end points minus 1 and 1 पे क्या होगा, तो उस point पे ये 1 हो जाएगा, right?
R minus 1 comma 1 होना चाहिए क्या? हाँ, sir.
Correct.
Yes.
But we'll discuss it in a little more detail. देखो, first we'll analyze the case of x between minus 1 to 1, right? Let's analyze the case where x lies strictly between minus 1 and 1, right?
Yes, sir.
In that case, we know x square is less than 1. So limit of n tends to infinity, x square power n is tending to 0, right? So let's look at what happens to our function. Function is going to become cos of 2 pi x. This part tends to 0, so this part is gone, right? By 1 plus this part is gone, this part is gone, right?
Yes.
Why? Because x power 2n plus 1 is same as x power 2n times x power 1, right? And this is tending to 0, right?
Yes, sir.
So the function f of x is becoming simple function cos of 2 pi x, right? Correct?
Yes, sir.
So if x was between minus 1 to 1, function was becoming a continuous function, right? For all x,
Yes.
right? Now let's take the case where x is greater than 1 or x is less than minus 1. Strictly greater, strictly lesser, right? In that case, the limit n tends to infinity, x square power n will tend to infinity, right? I hope everyone is understanding what I'm saying right now.
Yes, sir.
If this is tending to infinity, then I cannot directly put infinity here. So one way to handle it would be divide by x power 2n everywhere, right?
Yes, sir.
So what I would say is f of x is equal to cos of 2 pi x by x power 2n minus sine of x minus 1. I have divided by x power 2n up, and I will divide by that here also. 1 by x power 2n plus x minus 1, right?
Yes, sir.
And now I will put limit n tends to infinity here. I know that in this case, when x is like this, it is tending to infinity. So this part will become 0 this part will become 0, and you will end up with what? Minus sine x minus 1 by x minus 1, right?
Yes,
Correct. Now this function you can analyze. Since x is greater than 1, there is no chance of this denominator ever becoming a problem, right?
yes, sir.
So this function is also looking continuous only, right?
Yes,
Is everyone understanding what I'm saying?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Beyond the points, beyond 1 or below minus 1, I don't think there is any problem with this function. You can check at any random point, it is continuous, right? So all we have to now worry about is the situation when x is equal to 1 or minus 1, right? That was not included in these cases, right?
yes, sir.
So at 1, can we say it is continuous or discontinuous? So in order to find that, we'll have to take the right hand limit and left hand limit, right?
Yes, sir.
At 1, left hand limit will be based on this function, right?
Yes,
Yes.
So that will be cos 2 pi, which will be plus 1, right? And at 1, the right hand limit will be based on this function, right?
it will
Correct.
be,
This function, the value will be minus 1 limit, no?
yes, sir.
I hope everyone is understanding. I'm getting left hand limit here, and right hand limit here. This is RHL and this is LHL, right? At 1. And the values are not the same. Therefore, it is discontinuous at 1, right?
Yes, sir.
Also, value of the function, I mean, anyway, it is discontinuous. You don't have to do anything else. You can also check at minus 1. At minus 1, cos will still be plus 1. F of x will become what?
Minus
Sine
1.
of minus 2 by minus 2. So it is minus of sine of minus 2, sine 2 by minus 2, which is not equal to plus 1, right?
Yes, sir.
So basically, the 2 points where it is discontinuous, this function, is 1 and minus 1. Any other point other than that is it is continuous. So the region for continuity is real numbers minus 1 and minus 1. So you subtract 1 and minus 1, these 2 points from the set of all real numbers, right? I hope you are understanding.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then the next one is this one. F and G are two functions, R to R, and they are defined like this. F of x is equal to GF of x is less than 0, and mod of 1 minus x for x is greater than equal to 0, and G of x is defined as e power x minus x for x is less than 0, and x minus 1 whole square minus 1 for x is greater than equal to 0. Now you have to find out how many points of discontinuity are there for f of g of x. Think about it.
Okay.
Hmm. I hope everybody knows what the meaning of f of g of x is.
Yes, sir.
Simple method for doing such questions would be, okay, first you can try to find f of g of x, and then you can think about its continuity and discontinuity. Everyone should first try to find f of g of x.
Yes.
Because sometimes the question will not even be about continuity, discontinuity. They could ask a simple direct question, what is f of g of x also? You need to know how to get that. Okay. This is slightly tricky, so try it out. Take some time and try it out. I will discuss the solution tomorrow for this one. Okay. I can tell you the answer. The answer number of points of discontinuity is 2. But take some time and try to figure out why. Okay.
Yes.
You have to first find f of g of x. That is the tricky part. If you can find it correctly, then you will be able to answer it. Okay. We'll discuss this solution tomorrow. It will take some time to explain.
Sir, may I say once?
क्या क्या बोलो?
एक बार बोलते फंक्शन. हाँ तो सर एफ ऑफ जी ऑफ एक्स मतलब एक सेंस है ना, जी ऑफ एक्स जो है वो ई पावर एक्स माइनस एक्स में ये तो हमेशा पॉजिटिव होगा.
You say what you have done. I'm not going to confirm or deny unless if you have the right answer, it's fine. What is your function f of g of x? Have you gotten that?
Yes sir.
What is it?
The mod of x minus 1 whole square minus, sorry sir, gif of x minus 1 whole square minus 1.
In what portion?
For x positive.
तुम्हारा यही बस आ रहा है?
नहीं और भी आ रहा है. 1 माइनस ई पावर एक्स प्लस एक्स का mod वो x नेगेटिव 3.
1 minus e power x minus x.
प्लस एक्स.
हाँ वो सही है. 1 plus x minus e power x का mod for x less than 0. This is correct. But what about this? When is this happening? It is not correct if you say it is for x positive. That's wrong.
Okay.
तो इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ थोड़ा ध्यान से अच्छे से करो. ठीक है. We'll discuss the answer and the solution tomorrow if you have not gotten it. But try it out a little bit more. This is correct, you have said. This part is left.
Okay.
Sir, like how does that is correct?
How does what?
How is the first one correct? 1 plus x minus e to the power x mod.
Think about it. You have to think first. Nothing will be explained immediately. No, you have to first try yourself.
Sir, can we say that f of mod x is equals to mod fx?
F of mod x is equal. No, we can't say that. That was what I was explaining in the beginning, if you remember, by the graphs, right?
Yes, sir. That time there was an internet issue.
F of mod x is definitely not equal to mod of f of x. There's a big difference. These are not the same things. If you should look at the video later, I'll send you the video link. You can look in the drive.
Yes, sir.
I have explained the graphs of this. These are not the same. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So after the class, the video will be in the drive. Check it out.
Okay, sir.
And Yashwant, you have to try it. I will not explain it immediately. No, first you have to try and think on your own, right?
Yes, sir.
So try it out. Tomorrow we'll discuss the solutions. Okay, fine. That's
Okay,
all now then. I'll see you tomorrow.